So as you can see, I've removed one of the seats, and from my initial findings, the seat, the bolt pattern for the new generation seats actually seems to be exactly the same as the prior gen seats, which is good news. So as soon as I can get the doors opened, we will be able to install the bench. Dam, that's going on as well. I was happy to see that the despite my truck not having it, the mounts are there, so that won't require any drilling. Let's get this crap out of here. Give it a little spray. Show you my motivation for changing these seats out. They're still comfortable, but this one actually, as you can see, does not properly go back or forth. It's held together with sheet metal screws, and it's just generally not. I mean, I prefer a bench, so it's a good enough excuse. Yep, these ones are going to be a challenge, to say the least. Lucky for us, if anything goes wrong, we really only need the exterior side bolts to remain intact, so we can drill the other one out if need be. Not bad. This is where you really see the value of penetrating oil. There's no way that fastener was getting out of there without a bit of juice. I'm going to replace the bolts here just because not replacing them would mean probably having to deal with rust issues further down the line. So yeah, it's better to plug the holes than to leave them open. I am also going to vacuum this. Don't think you guys need a lesson on vacuuming your cars, so be back after this. As it turns out, my assumption that the rails are the same is totally wrong, as I will demonstrate. So more or less 43 inches rail to rail, center to center. And this one, more or less 37 rail to rail. So the difference, more or less 6 inches. It's not going to be possible to fit those directly with the old brackets either, because the pattern isn't the same. So what we're going to do is cut those so that they fit in here and weld them on all sides, which will give us an extension onto which we will be able to drill a mount. I do have taps, so we will be drilling and tapping them, but you could just use standard bolts or metal screws or whatever, although metal screws I kind of don't recommend. I did have to modify, because these rails will bolt in. You just drill an additional hole here. Slight modification, really nothing major, so the rails will fit. However, they will not be the correct length. You could re-drill the floor pans here, but then you've got the hump here to deal with, and that's probably not something you'd want to do. So figured it'll just be easier to modify the seat itself to make it fit. So let's get going. So here you have the first side of the brackets done. Tried to use a little bit of aluminum foil to not get some splatter all over my bench. This is quite the booger weld, and I'm sure you internet commenters will give me shit for it, but this one is slightly better. It should hold. So basically all these are 5-inch pieces of L-stock that have been ground down to fit the width of the bracket, so like this section here would be removed. Just fit it there. The top, the back portions necessitate quite a bit more messing around with the grinder to get them to fit right, because this part is so high up. You have to grind the section for this to fit in, and then have a keyway for this little bit also. The bottom part, on the other hand, if you put it on the other side, you have clearance to just put the you basically clear this bar and then you're fine. I'll have some pictures, some still pictures up for you guys also. So far this is proving to be pretty straightforward. All that's left is to line the holes up for the brackets, which will mount further down here, and we should be good to go. Alright, so one of the sides is done. So I just drilled through where the mounts were for these. Tap I'm using is an M8 by 125. I was surprised to see that this is metric. Kind of expected imperial. So this one, the other one, what we need to do now is do the same thing on the other side. Hopefully align them correctly, and it should bolt right in. So there you have it. Replace this with a key loop. Tensioner is quite high up, but it works. That's it. So this is what the final product looks like. Still is some clearance behind the seat, which makes it so that the seat is actually, you could have an additional 2 to 3 inches backwards. I'm just about 6 foot exactly, and if I were any taller, I probably would be hitting the top of my head on the headliner. So something to consider. You might want to make some rails that go further back if you're a bit taller. This is with the seat completely back, as you can see. I'm pretty happy with the result. Don't bother trying to thread the seat belts this way. You might want to just unbolt them. Use a lot of penetrating oil on these bolts because they're really solid, and just thread the small end through, and that'll be much easier for you. So that's it. Hopefully I can get a couple of still images for you guys as well on the website. And yeah, so overall $35 bench seat, a few cents worth of angle iron, and there you have it, bench sheet conversion.